Thanks, Pragya. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Cybersecurity Symposium 2021. And we are now entering into chat with two young cybersecurity leaders. One is Aditya Sawant, CEO, Aquilai Solutions, and the other one is Hakim Wadlawala. He's the CEO of Protect Manias. Before I start my conversation, I should ask both the gentlemen how are they, whether things are opened up. Hakim, what are your views on the market?
Hi, Sanjay. Thank you so much for that introduction, and I hope you guys are also doing well. Yes, there is a mixed feeling, like how, last year we all had hopes that, 2020 year, 2021 will bring a new year with the new hopes and everything. But then we saw that, the second wave and the pandemic keeps on extending to its own pace and being more deadlier than the first one, right? So if you ask me as an entrepreneur, it's I have a very high hopes that the regime that we are running with having the vaccination drives and so on and so forth, the third wave is likely not is likely not to happen. We all pray for it, and we are expecting the market should open up, and because of two things. One is, yes, of course, there is the cyber industry has evolved, not only in the terms of securing things, but also from the terms of a hacker, because they have become more, prominent now. They are able to get more penetration in the infrastructure or the customer side. So to answer that in a nutshell, we see a positive hope, and things are looking better to get in shape very soon. Thank you.
All right, Hakim, now the same question I'll be asking to Aditya in a different way. Aditya, what is your sense of cybersecurity coverage in Indian incorporates? Are they safe to ward off any cyber attacks?
Yes, Sanjay. So basically, I would say there is a sense of improvement. So the cybersecurity space itself has improved a lot. Organizations now understand that cybersecurity can't be put on the back burner. Organizations now, they don't want to be on a passive or a reactive approach towards cybersecurity, but instead they want to be on a more proactive approach towards it. Currently, what we see that organizations have taken steps to be secure. I wouldn't say that they're 100% secure, but there is still way forward to go. And I would say that no one can be 100% secure in the current times. With the evolving landscape of cybersecurity, we all need to evolve. And I think the new normal has only accelerated this journey. The approach towards cybersecurity has been at the forefront, but yeah, there's still a long way to go ahead on that.
All right, before I head to the next question, I would certainly like to know, not only me, the audience here present, would like to know a little bit about Aquilai. Aditya, if you can take us through very quickly.
Sure. So basically, Aquilai is a cybersecurity firm. We are a product-based company. We help organizations in improving their cybersecurity posture. We concentrate on few elements out here. We help to focus on those few elements and ensure that these security leaders have a better visibility, better understanding, and better control of their threat. That's what we do from a solution perspective. We also help organizations to mitigate challenges on the cybersecurity angle by doing a complete end-to-end managed service for them. So you don't have to deploy a resource, or you don't have to deploy your time and efforts to basically ensure that the cybersecurity posture is improved by tackling these threat vectors. We can do that for you. And that's what Aquilai does from a product perspective, and helps organizations to be much more safer, much more secure from a business perspective.
You look to be very young, but your brains are really, really matured and experienced. What are the pain areas are you visualizing current cybersecurity landscape, particularly for the cybersecurity leaders?
So basically, what we've seen is there are many pain areas for cybersecurity leaders, and I can share a few of those basis on what we have seen across when we have interacted with quite a few customers across from various different industries. Currently, InfoSec teams lack clear visibility of the threat vectors, and that's the area where we focus in. They at times need to navigate through multiple complex solutions for tackling simple threats and find basic answers. So what we do is we help organizations to improve that. It's really not right to basically, tackle solutions or tackle some multiple platforms to basically get simple answers to simple questions. So basically, we do that. The overall, cost factor also is something which goes across high. If you have multiple solutions, your team dependency also goes high if you have multiple platforms to manage. With Aquilai, what we have realized is that we can focus on these pain points and create a solution for security leaders that they able to govern, monitor, and rather focus on business scope rather than getting into the operations of managing or occupying a threat. Right. That's the responsibility we take across of ensuring that we're able to be able to give that visibility to our security leaders who we work with. Primarily, if you ask me, you must have heard about these four pillars of cybersecurity. That's your employees, organization, brand, your critical infrastructure. What we, from a solution perspective, do is we tackle these threats belonging to all these four pillars, and this all happens seamlessly through a managed service offering, all under one single roof. Okay, so you don't have to basically do multiple. You don't have to refer to multiple solutions to basically manage these. We do this on our end completely. What we have also done is we have built a product with the insights we have and feedback we have received from customers over the time. So our security solution, if you ask us, okay, from a security leaders perspective, it's the best currently in the market, and we can help organizations to improve the cybersecurity portion. This is something which we have proven with whatever approach we have taken across for various different customers across the verticals. And I will probably share a few of my case studies with all the customers present out here, and my customers who do work for what we do from a solution perspective out here.
Aditya, you spoke about four pillars of cybersecurity.
Yes.
Could you please take us through a little bit more on those four pillars and how we can help organization better?
Sure. So, okay, so let's talk about the first pillar, which is the employees. Okay, currently and predominantly, organizations always felt that employees are the weakest link in the system, right? We should change that. We should start now acknowledging them as our first and the strongest line of defense, right? We can do that only if we have proper awareness, proper assessment of the activity done for them, right? Cybersecurity simulation and proper training, which we do from a solution perspective, is something which needs to be conducted on a regular interval. And if it is done so, we have seen that a great impact on the cybersecurity posture has been done. Overall, organizations where we work and where we have helped organizations improve cybersecurity posture, we have seen that they are able to ward off much more attacks if their user base or the employee base is much more aware and they are trained to figure out these kind of attacks and so if you do proper simulation. Moving, as a step ahead, once we do the simulation, right, once we have identified the user group and once we have taken them through a stringent process of churning out and finding out which are the employees which are vulnerable to your organization. What we do is we're supposed to take them through a cyber awareness training program. Okay, cyber awareness training program can't be something which is a standard flat training program for everyone. We have to have it very customized driven. We have to have it more focus driven, developed for your customers to ensure that they are able to understand, or users to basically that they are able to understand more from the training we give across to the users. With our solution, we are able to do that. Primarily, what we have seen is the pain area that cybersecurity simulation and awareness is not considered important in the organization. But trust me, in the current times we live in, we should consider this like a fire drill, where which is must have for your security layer, right? If you do the right simulation, if you do the right awareness practices, you not only ensure your organization is safe, but you also create a group of people who are vigilant and aware about cybersecurity. So that's primarily what you do from an employee perspective. The second most important pillar, which I would like to touch upon, is the email channel. So as a security leader, right, we should not neglect that our domains can be not be spoofed, right, through a phishing attack. It's a complete real threat which is there in the internal system in the current world, and we can be impacted at any given time. The basic and the most easiest form of protecting your domain from getting spoofed is DMARC, right? If you deploy a proper DMARC policy for your email channel, right, there's a high chance that you will have a better visibility on your fraudulent practices of your domain, have a better insight of your email channel, and obviously be able to protect your customers, email employees, and your partners from getting or probably falling to an attack in the new times. With Aquilai, right, what we do is we ensure the stringent policies are enforced to your domain. Not only are legitimate mail senders are permitted, but we also ensure that the illegitimate mail senders are restricted out from sending any email activity through your domain. So that's something which we do. From a policy perspective, if you ask me, we are not the regular players. We will basically deploy a solution and leave it over there. We are a solution product company where we'll ensure that the enforced policy is attained to the highest possible of standard. We will ensure that we are able to give you a better visibility of your email channel. We are able to improve your email deliverability, and we have a clear sight of your email as a tool, right? When you come across from a business communication perspective, we can help you improve that drastically. So that's the second pillar of cybersecurity, which I touched upon. The other pillar of cybersecurity is the infrastructure. Currently, what has been the challenge for security leader is a cost-heavy solution where they are not able to have a better visibility on their infrastructure, or they are not able to have a regular management onto it, which has been done. What we do from our infrastructure vulnerability perspective is we basically analyze your critically exposed infrastructure. We get away from the traditional VAPT process, which is 6 months or a yearly process, and we basically get into a model of continuous monitoring for your critical exposed infrastructure, because that could be one of the gateways for cyber attackers to have infect your system. With the Aquilai tool, we help organizations to have a real threat monitoring for their internet exposed infra. Number one. Number two, we are also able to have a remediation process which has been drawn across for each of the vulnerability which they find across on the platform, right? And then we can take a remediation action against it. So that's again something which is very key from protecting your environment perspective, so that you don't have tomorrow any gateways open for cyber criminals to enter and do any fraudulent activities on your domain or your DNS, or impact your internal systems in any form or way. The touching upon the last point, which is the last pillar, that's the brand, right? In the current new normal, I feel we have moved more towards digital journey now, and that digital journey's speed has only accelerated and nothing less than that. So currently, it's become more than imperatively important for us to monitor the brand presence in the internet world, right? If organizations start focusing on that, you'll be able to figure out that there are not many places where your brand has been misused or misled, and they are used for fraudulent activities. If you are able to have the proper monitoring mechanism which has been laid down across for your brand, we will be able to have a necessary remediation action or take a necessary course of action against these fraudulent presence of brand on the internet world. What we do from Aquilai over here is we give you a complete comprehensive dashboard for your brand. We tell you how your brand is in the internet world, if there are any lookalike domains of your brand, what's the brand presence in the social media platforms, if there are any fake applications of your brand on Google Store, Apple Store, or so. And we also tell you if anyone is misusing your data in the dark webs area. So all of these combined solutions, right? All of these four pillars, we basically take necessary course of action towards it. We take the remediation action towards it. We take the monitoring action towards it. We take the progressive action towards these, and we take basically give the platform or a dashboard view to the security leaders, while we take the load of doing the whole back end of it and giving you a complete view of your vulnerabilities for your critical pillars of your infrastructure or organization.
All right, I think Hakim, I should come to Hakim now. Hakim, you heard Aditya speaking about 4 pillars. DMARC is one, the other things you said,
Right.
he said. So what are your viewpoints? Do you agree very quickly? Maybe you can take 2 minutes and explain if
Absolutely.
you have any view.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sanjay, and thank you so much, Aditya, for the entire explanation that you put it across. And my viewpoint. So we being a service provider predominantly focused on cybersecurity. A major challenge that we see a customer face is, they go out in the market and they look for the product that are very much in silos, right? We are also ourselves using Aquilai as one of the platform for our internal brand monitoring and other training purposes and so on and so forth. And in fact, we have a lot of customer where we have been working along with Aditya and his team. I believe we are able to put a lot of area where the time invested by the people who manage the security is drastically reduced. So no multiple vendors to manage, no multiple platform to manage, the single console with a multiple solution in a nutshell. And most importantly, what I like about them is right now they come up with a managed services portfolio, which is very, very, very much important, is because you don't need somebody to do stuff for you. You just need to subscribe for it and you get your solution working and you get hand holding. I think that's the key area, and that's why strategically we are also aligned with them. And I think these guys are doing a fantastic job out there. Thank you, Sanjay.
All right, Hakim. We heard a lot. We have another 10 minutes of time. I can put more questions. I think there are two things. Point of view. For any organization, Indian organization, there are two front threats. One is from the internal resources or internal side. The other one is external, coming from outside. Which one is the major threat for the organization? How to manage and how to mitigate those challenges? Very common, but very pertinent.
Yes, we have heard of this a lot in the current times, right? If you ask me, right, I would say obviously both the threats are equally dangerous when it comes to infecting organizations and leading them to a downfall. What we have realized is that for internal threats, we've seen organizations who have heavily focused on employee awareness, assessment, and have taken the right measures at the right particular time, have been able to drastically reduce the threat probability by almost 30%. And if you ask me, that's a big number, right? When it comes to your external threats, we have seen that it's very much necessary for organizations to adapt to a more proactive approach towards them. They need to have a consistent monitoring remediation module. They need to ensure that they are better aware of the pertaining threats in the environment, and they're able to take necessary course of action against as well. You don't find a threat and you just keep it over there, right? You take the necessary course of action against them. Organizations, when they have basically indulged in the ideal security posture practices, they have been able to be able to evade these kind of threats, both from external and internal, and they're able to prevent any attacks in the future through that, right? If you ask me, that's the way forward for it, right? You can't only work in silos, right? Hakim also pointed out, we can't work out in silos, and we can't say that okay, this threat is supposed to be done by a particular team or a particular department, and it's fine if employees are being vulnerable, or it's fine if the infrastructure is vulnerable. You can't do that. You can't have that approach now. You will have to have a more proactive approach towards things, and that's the way I think we should go ahead with.
All right, then. These days we are hearing a lot about different types of attacks, and targeted attacks are many. Every now and then we are hearing that targeted attacks are account-based targeted attacks are happening. Okay, now the turn of Hakim now to answer my question, which is pertaining to today's trend. The trend is that targeted attacks. We are hearing a lot about targeted attacks these days. Hakim, what are your views on this new trend?
See, Sanjay, if you look at it, right, I won't call it as a new trend, but I would call it as a more exploited or nowadays it's been used more easily by the attackers, right? So earlier we always had a targeted attack living in the ecosystem, right? So but because of the pandemic, because of the work from home, because of more digitalization, we saw that the immense pressure on the security team has built up, is because the attackers are now become more sophisticated and have ensured that there are more target attacks that have been put across to the the organizations across the world, and not just India, right? And and it is needless to say that India has seen immense of attacks in couple of weeks, months, that has been passed by. What I see is that there is an opportunity. There is an opportunity to have a right approach that can be put across by the right set of solutions, which actually make you more trained on how a targeted attack comes in and how do you handle those, right? Uh, just giving out an example, right? So you see drill happening within the armies, militaries, and other authorities, and they always try to ensure that they are trained when there is such kind of an attacks that comes across, and they handle it well, right? And how does that happen is they ensure that they are able to actually simulate the entire scenario in such a way, and try to ensure that the people are more trained, more aware, more uh, you know uh, you know aware about the attacks that can come in and how to handle those. And that is exactly what we are trying to do these days. We are trying to make people more aware about it, people more trained about it, and try to bring those proactive approach. And I'm telling you this based on my experience, that this is not going to come down. This is going to increase more, is because the amount of data that is now on the digital world is much higher than that was 2 years back. And it's not just the pandemic what it has done. It has always been the case, right? So the data on the internet will grow and keep on growing, and the people will continue to become more vulnerable. And the only way to protect yourself is to be one step ahead. Be aware you will get an attack, but you need to know that how to stop it, how to mitigate it, and how to contain it. So I think the right people to help you, assist you throughout this journey is important, and the right solutioning or managed part services is what is that I think a customer should always look for a better control on things that they are performing, is because eventually everybody has to invest, and when the investment goes in the right place, I think that is what is being uploaded. So that's in a nutshell. Sanjay, we are getting more prone to more targeted attacks, and we just need to be more proactive than them.
Okay, thank you, Hakim. Aditya, if you remember, the entire conversation is around ideal security posture for the organization. So this is the sweetest thing that I kept for the end. So this is the end question for you. So what should be the idea? This is my question to you. What should be the ideal cybersecurity posture for the organization?
Okay, so cybersecurity posture for an organization is not something that people should stop having this thought saying that by doing XYZ things we'll be able to attain a cybersecurity posture, right? And it can happen just in time, right? Whenever you want. But cybersecurity posture is not like that, right? Cybersecurity posture for an organization is not something that you can achieve within a single day or with a single activity. It's a continuous effort built over time to ensure that organizations are the least affected from cyber attacks. What we do from an ideal security posture, it's tough, right? I would say it's tough, but it's not unachievable. As a proactive step, if security leaders focus on these four key pillars, right, which we pointed out just a while back, the people, communications, infrastructure, brand, I think we'll be able to attain ideal security posture. At Aquilai, we help organizations improve their cybersecurity posture by highly focusing on these four key pillars. We ensure that we engage on a regular assessment, training, monitoring module for actively for all these four pillars. I can touch upon more of these in the following presentation which I have once we get done with this. So I'll touch upon these four pillars in much more detail over there.
All right, Aditya, thank you very much for taking time out and speaking to enterprise IT world at the platform of Security Symposium 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to thank Hakimuddin Wadlawala. Thank you, Hakimuddin Wadlawala, CEO Protect Monies, to speak at Security Symposium 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question, you can ping both Aditya and Hakim and get your questions solved. stay tuned. Of course, after this is coming a panel discussion, which will be moderated by Hakim himself, and Aditya, of course, is joining there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sanjay. Pleasure
Thank
to
you.
have you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.